Dirty Sports, episode 910, live from YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Morning, man. We
Morning.
got a fun show today, I think.
Oh, I'm actually real. I was chomping at the bit to get this show going today. I woke up early. I was like, I go as early as you need, Andy. I have a lot of things on a lot of things.
Well, there's a lot to talk about from last night's game, man.
A ton to talk about. There's already, people are talking about, like, some of the conversations that are going on I love. Some of the conversations are going on I hate. Some of the, I was at a Super Bowl party. I reviewed the commercials today because I didn't really get to see any of them in the moment. I saw Rihanna, obviously. She was great, I thought. And just a great game, in my opinion. Obviously, an Eagles loss. That was what I was rooting for, so I was happy about that. But all in all, like, dude, 38-35. You tell me going into a Super Bowl, it's going to be 38-35. Pretty good game.
Yeah, hell of a game. Hell of a game. Didn't like how it ended, personally. It just sucks that a game can end on a call. And for the record, like I tweeted, I'm not even saying the call is wrong. I'm not saying that.
In fact, the calls was right.
I'm saying it sucks that we end a game that was played so well with, it's basically, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a
ticky-tacky foul.
Yeah, it's a ticky-tacky foul, and it's just, Joe, it's just to end a game that, again, was so exciting. You would have loved to seen the Eagles and Jalen Hurts with a chance to tie or win with 1:30.
You would have loved to see that, of course. I mean, not me as a guy who's rooting against the Eagles, but of course, in terms of a game, it was like, I agree with everyone. It was a bummer the way it ended. That being said, don't grab a guy's jersey, and the game doesn't end that way. And here's the other thing that I want to say, because, like, I think there's a lot to talk about in this game, but from both teams' performances, coaches, quarterbacks, offense, defense. Like, I have so many thoughts on this game. For starters, like, almost nothing went the way I thought it was going to go, except for Kadarius Toney randomly being a fucking X factor, which I totally saw coming. But it seems like we got to do this refs thing to get it out of the way. I think NFL refereeing is poor. Now, obviously, they get more calls right than they get wrong. But my issue with NFL refereeing is I think it could be better. And I think that we have the technology to make it better and the money to make it better. The NFL makes infinite money. So why are these guys not full-time? Okay. We have every angle. So why is every call not reviewable? You can still keep the same amount of challenges. Why does the call on the field matter? It shouldn't. And then, of course, why do the NFL back poor refereeing and don't just say, hey, we blew this call, we blew that call? And if you're going to make these guys, to me, I would say we're going to make you full-time employees. But what comes with that is that we are going to review each and every call that you guys make. And the guys who get it right more often than not will keep getting money. And the guys who get it wrong more often than not will lose their jobs, will be replaced, will be put on less games, will not get the same bonuses, all that stuff. You have the money to pay these guys, and you have the money to give them bonuses if they're great at their job, and own it when it's wrong. My issue with everybody's complaints from last night are twofold. One, I don't think the NFL refereeing is where it should be already. I certainly don't want to add to that the layer of the referees should also be deciding when calls should be made and when they shouldn't be made. Your job is to call the game. I hate hearing, just seems like that's a call they should let go in that situation. I don't want the referees thinking about the situation. I want them thinking about the rules and calling the rules. I don't want another layer. They're already pretty bad at owning it. I don't want them saying.
So you're saying their nuance shouldn't matter, is what you're saying?
Not at given the specific time of the game or the specific moment or what's on the line or this is going to leave them with no time left or like that's not something I want referees doing. Like this isn't you pulled somebody over speeding and they're on their way to deliver a baby. So this is like I want defensive holding being called when they see it and not called when they don't see it.
So, like, I mean, this play right here. So this is a very ticky time. I mean, look, and we're obviously slowing it down.
And again, this isn't the call. Right there is not the call, by the way.
Is it the second one?
It's the first one. It's before this. It's here. He's got his hand on his back and he pulls his jersey and he tugs him. And he uses
the right hand right here.
Right here. Right hand, watch him get pulled back. He's gonna try to make his break. He gets pulled back, and that keeps Bradbury even in the play. Otherwise, he gone.
So it's not this.
It's not this, which is also, that's for sure a borderline call.
But let me ask you this. So here's a second angle. Do you think if that first pull on the jersey by Bradbury on Smith-Schuster, do you think he catches it? Because here's the second angle.
Well, now we get into something that if you go through my tweets, you will see me writing 1,000 times. It doesn't seem as though the quote-unquote uncatchable thing is even a thing anymore.
Because that's what I'm wondering. And that's why I bring that up. Because, like, look, so let's just go back on the beginning of the play. Obviously, he pulls on the jersey. No one's debating that, or no one should debate that. So he pulls on the jersey. But now, does this make the play? Does it affect it enough is what I'm asking.
But here's the thing. Dude, I'm telling you, I've tweeted this 1,000 times this year alone. I have seen way more uncatchable balls be flagged for pass. It doesn't seem like pass interference or at least I should say, to me, I've seen it on pass interference, and I definitely thought uncatchable was part of the pass interference rule. I'm not sure that they even enforce that anymore, but I think, and I could be wrong about this, maybe uncatchable isn't even a factor in defensive holding. It might not be. And listen, again, bummer that that's the way the game ended, but I don't want refs picking and choosing when they make their calls. And I don't think that that's what was done here. And also, if you go into the there's a huge third down in the first half where the Eagles get away with a blatant hold and a blatant pass interference. And I don't think, despite what Eagles fans or Chiefs fans or whatever are saying, I don't think the refs let that one go. I think the refs missed one and then got one. I don't think that they're saying, we're not going to call that one. Why would you ever do that? This isn't holding on the offensive line, which is the most ridiculous thing to ever complain about because there truly is holding on every play. And basically, unless it's blatant, they don't call it. It's such a subjective offensive line holding is so subjective. Defensive holding on a player in the secondary is not subjective. And I don't want NFL referees deciding when we should or should not get that rule.
Well, look, I struggle with that. I think
they're not good at their job as is.
I know, but I think at any level, this is my vantage point. you could definitely call it. I'm not debating the hold. I'm not debating the tug on the jersey. I just think I don't care about the sport, Joe. I think at times you have to hold your whistle. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care if it's
I disagree.
so you disagree. So it's like at the end of a basketball game, unless it's a blatant foul, I always say, are we going to call that with point
But
0.7
what's a
seconds
blatant
left?
foul versus like the LeBron thing? Was that a blatant foul? The LeBron thing just a couple weeks ago. End of the game. Layup. Hit on the arm.
Yeah, I wouldn't have called that. That's my point.
How do you not call it?
Oh, oh,
It's
oh, 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 oh. So, I'm sorry. I'm next. No, to me that's more. That's
but there
affecting his
but
shot.
but this is my point. If you go in the comments for all that, there are people who are like that it's ticky tack. You can't call it at the end of the game. You can't let that game to be decided on free throws. Just about the only thing that I can think of in life, in sports, is a check swing. Like a check swing is so subjective and happens so fast and is not reviewable. So I'm not punching a guy out to end the World Series because I think it's like I can tell you one thing. You don't know for sure when you make that call, no matter what. So a borderline check swing, that's about the only thing I can think about in sports
Yeah.
where you're going like, how do you make that call? Otherwise, it's like you make the call. Again, if the question is he didn't hold him, I mean, James Bradbury said he did. Like, that's a different thing. But I don't want to add to an already questionable league officiating policy. Also, we determine when fouls happen and when they don't, how it's going to affect the game. I don't want it. And I'm going to add the second layer of things that I'm really upset about reading and seeing. There is no dumber theory in sports. There's no dumber sports conspiracy than the NFL wants any team to win any game. The NFL is the king of American sports for one reason and one reason alone: parity. There is a Detroit Lions Reddit page right now with thousands of people predicting them in the Super Bowl next year. The reason the NFL is king, week 1 next year, every fan base thinks they're going to win the fucking Super Bowl. They think it's going to happen, dude. There are no Cincinnati Reds fans in the NFL. There are no fucking, shitty NBA teams. Every team goes into the NFL season thinking we could win the Super Bowl. Do I think the Giants will win the Super Bowl next year? No, I don't. Could they? They could. This is how the NFL makes its money. The idea that the NFL wants the Chiefs over the Eagles is the world's dumbest sports conspiracy. Why would they? Why would they ever want it? Michael Jordan getting 6 rings in the 90s when he was head and shoulders bigger than any player in professional sports, and they were trying to take the sport globally. You want him to win? Sure. You want the Lakers to win over the Sacramento Kings because Kobe and Shaq and the markets in LA and whatever. Dude, the Super Bowl could be Jaguars, Lions. It's going to get 35 million people watching. The name of the game in the NFL is parity.
If more than that. Well,
right.
100.
If you think the NFL wants any single team to win over any other team, you don't understand the NFL. You don't understand business. You don't understand anything. It's the worst single sports conspiracy I've ever heard. You think the NFL wanted us to be bored that the Patriots were in every Super Bowl for a decade? You think the NFL wants us to be bored?
But I don't think that's boring. I think that creates, you have heroes and villains in all walks of life. I would argue that that's not boring. I think the Patriots in their dynasty creates a great storyline and creates an evil empire, so to speak, right? It creates the villain. I don't think that's boring.
I disagree, and I think that the NFL. I think the NFL is so many sports are worried about growing their game. I think the NFL's only thing is don't lose any fans. Like there's no new fans to be had, man. You have all the fans. You don't want people going, I'm sick of Mahomes, man. I'm sick of Jackson Mahomes. Every year it's the fucking Chiefs and the fucking blah, blah, blah. You don't think they would have loved half of those Patriots Super Bowls to be Peyton Manning Super Bowls? You don't think they would have loved the Niners not to be in the fucking Super Bowl every year for fucking 8 years? Like, the NFL is built on everybody loving any given Sunday.
Well, it's like I tweet, nothing will change, guys, as long as the money's there. Like, we can bitch all we want about the refs. You're still watching games. You're still buying Sunday ticket. You're still playing fantasy, going online and gambling. Like nothing will ever change until their bottom line is affected. And that's just what's going to happen. Nobody is going to care, whether it's Roger Goodell, the owners. Nobody's going to care about the ref situation as far as making better refs until it affects their money.
But I would argue that the strategy should be, guys, you have the money and you have the technology and you have it because of us. You have it because we don't stop watching. The NFL refereeing is very simple. It's a very simple fix. Full-time refs. Everything's challengeable. Nothing. The call on the field doesn't matter, and hold refs accountable. That's it. It's fixed. I fixed it for you. The idea of, I just want it to be consistent. There's human error, man. Sometimes they miss a call. Sometimes they get one right. Sometimes they call a ticky-tack one. Sometimes, like James Bradbury said, they miss it. I thought I could tug his jersey, and maybe they'd miss it. Or maybe I'd be able to get away with it. That's human. There is no, sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. No, sometimes they miss it, sometimes they don't. No one's out here going like, we're going to let that one go, because that's dumb.
I think they do. I think sometimes they do let things go.
And also let's talk about refereeing. If you're a Eagles fan that's complaining today, the letter of the law is that James Bradbury thing is a hold. The letter of the law is also that Miles Sanders catch is a incomplete pass. But anybody who's ever stepped foot on a field and played with their friends knows Miles Sanders caught the ball, then a guy knocked it out, and then he returned it for a touchdown. But that's not the letter of the law. The letter of the law is you have to make a football move. Unless you're Dallas Goedert, then you don't have to make a football move because you're by the sideline. So then all you got to do is bobble it for a second and hold it against your head. So we already have weird NFL rules. Goddard doesn't have to make a football move. He just has to go out of bounds. But Miles has to make a football move or else it's an incomplete pass. So we're going letter of the law on the Goddard catch. Letter of the law. Letter of the law on the Miles Sanders catch. Letter of the law. Bradbury hold. Can we let him play? Can we do spirit of the law on that one? Because the guy who picked up the fucking Miles Sanders fumble that was about to score his second touchdown of the game and make him the Super Bowl MVP probably wishes for a spirit of the law there too. We all know Miles Sanders caught the ball and then fumbled.
You think he caught it?
The ball. Well, he caught the ball.
It's so bang
and then
bang.
He fumbled it.
But you have to make a football move.
Exactly. So the letter of the law there is you have to make a football move. And the letter of the law for James Bradbury is you can't tug a guy's jersey and impede his progress. So pick a fucking lane, guys. You want letter of the law rules or spirit of the law rules? Oh, you want spirit of the law rules when it helps you. But you want letter of the law rules when the game's on the line. The game's not even on the line if that fumble's picked up and returned. Your game's over.
So, moving past all this.
That being said, I hate NFL refereeing and just gave you how to fix it. But the thing isn't let him pick and choose.
Look, the game wasn't won or lost on that holding call, and that obviously needs to be said. Most people understand that. There were so many plays in this game that if they go a different way for the Eagles win. The difference in that game right now, the difference, if you look at that game, if you break that game down, the difference in that game is the return fumble. Like the fumble difference, that's the difference. I mean, if you're going to choose one play, it's the Jalen Hurts who just fumbled the ball and they return it for a touchdown. He wasn't hit before he fumbled it. He just fumbled the ball.
It's
and it sucks because he played a great game.
The Vince Lombardi thing is there's 5 huge plays in every football game, right? There's 5 game changes. That's certainly one of them. Kadarius Toney's punt returns, one of them. You could say that penalty at the end of the game is one of them. You could say that Mahomes scramble is one of like there's a lot of game changing plays. The game itself was amazing, and it didn't go in any way. The thought of like the Eagles couldn't run the ball with their running backs. The Eagles got no pressure. Like Mahomes didn't get sacked at all.
Zero pressure.
The Chiefs, and yet they kind of held Mahomes in check where he didn't throw for a ton of yards.
Because they didn't have the ball all the first half.
Right. The Eagles' passing offense was effective.
It was unstoppable.
Their running game, not effective. No pass. It didn't go any, like everything that you would say, the Eagles' game plan for winning this game, establish a run, get Sanders going, get whatever the other dude's name is, Brightwell, whatever his name is, going, get to Mahomes. And then the Chiefs' game plan is like, we gotta be, we gotta win in a shootout. We gotta whatever. And it's like, it almost went completely different than we all expected.
Yeah, no, it really did. It did go different. And we both were torn going into this game, right, on who to pick. I said I gave a slight nod to the Eagles because of the Owen defensive line. And the Chiefs O-line played wonderful. They didn't give up any sacks, like you said. They only got 1 sack on Hurts. They definitely got more pressure on Hurts than what the Eagles did on Mahomes. But still, it was a clean game. 1 sack for the entire game. So it was a very clean game.
Andy Reid, play calling, Eric Bieniemy, whatever, master class.
Yeah, so give the guy some credit, man. I feel like you don't give Andy Reid enough credit, in my opinion.
Well, I don't. So, listen. Here's the thing. I love Phil Jackson. Okay, great coach, no doubt about it. Hall of Famer. Andy Reid, Hall of Fame coach. Phil did a lot when he had Michael and Scotty and Kobe and Shaq and the whole thing. Like, Andy Reid's won 2 Super Bowls and been to 3 since Patrick Mahomes arrived. Like,
yeah, but look at his record. He's consistently winning 10 games. It doesn't matter whether he has Donovan McNabb, Alex Smith, or Patrick Mahomes.
But he, in his career, gets into a situation where time management disasters, offensive stumbles in the biggest moments in the games, and now time doesn't matter because Patrick Mahomes needs 11 seconds to score on any given fucking drive. Play calling doesn't matter because now they can do all kinds of things creatively because you can't fucking do anything about one of the greatest players of all time already. And that doesn't mean there wasn't, dude, I had such an absolute boner for the 3rd and 1 pro set sweep, 2 pulling guards, fullback leading. That was some fucking Tecmo Bowl fucking shit, and I loved it. And then there was the Kadarius Toney fake motion that Darius Slay still running across the field thinking that Kadarius Toney's in motion and Kadarius Tony's alone.
Yeah.
Great. but that's never really been the issue with Andy Reid. And like, props to Andy Reid for winning these championships. But I would say, if Belichick is Popovich, Andy Reid is turning into the Phil Jackson, where it's like you got a guy who's moving up the all-time quarterback ranking list pretty quick. Like, I don't remember your Super Bowl appearance with Alex Smith. I don't remember your Super Bowl win with Donovan McNabb.
Yeah, but hold on. To be fair, what has Belichick done without Brady?
Sure. I mean, been the defensive coordinator for a 2-time Super Bowl Giants team, and, been like, sure, without Brady, but like, what is also his resume in length without Brady? Like, what are we really talking about? 2 seasons on the Browns where he got them to the playoffs, and the post-Brady era for 3 years. We're not talking about, what was he in, 14 years in Kansas City or in Philadelphia? Like, we have a nearly 20-year Andy Reid resume prior to Patrick Mahomes showing up.
No, for sure. But I'm saying, and he's produced. I don't want to get too hung up on this. We might not agree. Like, he's produced for those 20 years.
And all he needed is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time to win a Super Bowl.
I was going to say, obviously, you had Patrick Mahomes. He's going to make any coach look good.
But that's sort of my thing with Andy Reid is the play call stuff and the creativity is amazing. And I'm not in their locker room. I don't know what part of it is Reid and Bieniemy or them together or whatever. But your head coach is also the strategy and the time and all those other things that go with it, where I feel like that hurt Andy Reid's teams, and now those are off the table because they have a guy who is just so goddamn good.
How much was Patrick Mahomes actually hurting?
Everyone. I mean, you saw my tweet, right?
Well, I've seen you've been skeptical since even before the Bengals game. They're obviously really, really pushing that narrative. I thought he moved really well.
Yeah, obviously.
Now he
couple scrambles that were like game-changing scrambles.
Now, definitely,
I think he had the longest quarterback run in Super Bowl history.
The 26-yard run?
Yeah.
Now, there's definitely that play where his ankle gets twisted around. I just think it's hilarious that.
Let's just call it what it is here. He didn't have a high ankle sprain. I'm not saying his ankle wasn't injured. Obviously, his ankle's injured. He didn't hop on one foot to hand off the ball against Cincinnati just because. Or was that that might have even been the game before. But he's not doing it just like.
That was against the Jags.
Yeah. He's not doing it just to look like he's hurt. He obviously hurt his ankle in that game.
How do you know it's not a high ankle sprain?
Because it's an 8-week injury that he shrugs off every 30 minutes like it never happened.
That's what it is? I don't know anything about high ankle sprain.
Yeah, it's like a 4, 6, 8 week. Like, it's not. Dude, he didn't have a high ankle sprain. Like, the end. He just didn't. And why we're calling it that is I assume to throw them off about actually how hurt he is. He didn't have a high ankle sprain. And there's no doubt about it that they wanted them to think that his ankle was hurt more than it was. And that's not to say his ankle wasn't in pain. And that's not to say the twisting it doesn't, make it hurt more. And there's not a moment. But like, and also, I don't know what they're shooting him up with or whatever, if that's even a real thing. But like, I saw that.
Oh, yeah, that's a real thing. They're shooting him up. He can't. Here's the thing, guys.
But the thing is like.
He can't feel that ankle until after the game. He's not
right.
feeling shit.
But the thing is like, I'm not even sure, did he even need that? You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm like, how hurt was he really? Like, I'm not saying he wasn't hurt. But I'm just saying the idea that, like, Patrick Mahomes is, like, playing on a broken ankle, but they're pumping him full of the Varsity Blues painkiller. It's like, dude, it seems pretty obvious that, like, they wanted the Eagles to think he was more hurt than he was.
Also, it doesn't matter how hurt he is or isn't. When you give a guy that much time, when you give Patrick Mahomes, let alone any NFL QB, he's going to pick apart your defense. How many wide receivers / tight ends?
I think he was was he 12 for 13 or 13 for 14 in the second half with like 3 touchdowns or something like that? Like,
guys were wide open.
There's 3 games in Super Bowl history that teams come back from 10 at the half. This, like, you know, I know Eagles fans have joined. I mean, actually kind of like what makes me laugh aloud is the audacity of the Eagles fans to call Niners fans whiny bitches for 2 weeks just to join the Niners Bengals fan we were robbed party that has been going on for the better part of this past month. Like, Eagles, you got destroyed in the second half. You couldn't stop them.
They scored every possession.
That's why you lost the game.
I agreed. They scored every possession. And for the record, anybody who actually watches football, if you've ever watched, let alone football, Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, come on. Did anyone I know we didn't. No thought in my head was like, oh, the Chiefs are down 10. This game's over.
Oh, Andy, at halftime of the game. So I went to a party.
I knew for sure they're going to come back.
I went to a Super Bowl party, almost entirely Eagles fans. That was a mistake. But it was glorious in the end. But there's a guy there who was foreign, and he's not a big American football guy, but he's like obsessed with sports gambling. And my buddy Dave goes, you got to talk to Joe. If there's anybody here to talk to about sports gambling, it's Joe. So at halftime, he's like, what bets do you like at halftime? And I was like, dude, you're getting plus 310 right now for the Eagles to win the game. You're getting over 3-1 odds for the Eagles to win the game. And he's like, but the Eagles are not, the Chiefs to win the game.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs are not going to win the game. I was like, bro, they get the ball in the second half. I was like, in 3 minutes,
yeah,
this is going to be a 3-point game.
Sure.
And he's like, but they're not going to win. The Eagles are going to win. I go, okay. Well, I was like, I'm on the phone with my brother right now. I can't talk to you. We're putting a bet in for the 3-1. After the game, he's like, I was like, bro, it's not that fucking hard. Like, you thought the Eagles were gonna run away with this game in the second half?
Yeah, no way.
Don't bet sports if you don't even watch sports. Like, it seems like a bad idea.
It's like there's never a game where the Chiefs are out. There just isn't. There's never a game. There's never a game where the Chiefs, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, that they're going to be out. I don't care if they're down 3 touchdowns plus. There's never a game. Which brings me to my next point. Can we stop this narrative, Travis Kelce, who's the ringleader of the Chiefs as underdogs? This is one of the most hilarious spins I've seen.
I didn't mind it in the Bengals game, and that's on Bengals fans.
And the players on the Bengals.
That's on Bengals fans, players, mayors, the whole thing, the whole shebang. I didn't mind it then because, honestly, the underdog thing, like, as ridiculous as it is for the Chiefs to be playing the underdog role, it was equally ridiculous for anybody in Cincinnati, in the locker room, in the mayor's office, in the city, to treat them as such.
Yeah, agreed.
So I didn't mind it. But this narrative that they've somehow always been underdogs or some shit is
get out of here.
Insane.
It's insane.
And also they were underdogs in this game and you know, rightfully so. But like, let's leave it at that. Leave it at that. Like, if I was Travis Kelce, I'd be like, have we learned nothing? Have we learned nothing? You did this in Cincinnati, and then you make us a 2-point underdog in this game. Have you guys learned nothing? Leave it at that. Yeah, this idea that you were underdogs in week 8 or whatever is insane.
Well, the whole thing has gotten insane. And what Kelce did after the Bengals Chiefs AFC Championship game was hilarious. He calls out the mayor. He obviously is invoking his inner WWE wrestler. That was hilarious. But now I'll just say how I feel. Personally, it's played out. It's obnoxious. It's lame. Yeah. It's like I tweeted from Dirty Sports. You've been to 3 Super Bowls. You've won 2 of them. 5 straight AFC championship. on every single betting website heading into this year, before the year even started, you were a top 3 Super Bowl winner pick. You're not the fucking underdog, bro. And I'll take it one step further. You were the favorite, to my knowledge, and unless I'm wrong on this. The Chiefs going into every single game before kickoff, the Chiefs were the Vegas odds-on favorite to win the game, except for the Super Bowl. And it was only 1.5 point difference.
Listen, I think it is absurd for it to now be like a full locker room thing where you guys, you're the little giants or whatever. You know what I mean? The only thing I will say is going into this year and hopefully going into next year, everybody like sort of is like, why are we talking about the Bills as favorites? Why are we talking about this team as favorites or that team as favorites? It's like, dude, the Chiefs are the favorites until they're not the fucking favorites anymore.
100%.
We did this with the Pats.
And for the record, Joe, they are the favorites.
Yeah, I know.
The Chiefs are already the favorites.
I know, but I'm saying, when free agency hits and, Derek Carr goes to the Jets or Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders, like, don't do this, guys.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Raiders are going to win the AFC West thing when they get Rodgers. Just don't do it. Like, so many people were the Bills, the Bills, the Bills, the Bills, the Bills, the Bills, 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 Bills. The whole offseason was Bills, 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 Bills. This is the year of the Bills. Why? Because they almost beat the Chiefs last year. That was why.
So this is what Kelsey, again, and I think part of it is why it's so obnoxious, and I know that's kind of his shtick, is he's screaming at the camera, and it's always with Patrick Mahomes. This is what he said right after the game, again playing the underdog.
Gonna take it home this year. Now,
hold on. I mean, look at this guy.
I kind of love him.
None of y'all said the Chiefs were gonna take it home this year. Not a single one.
What?
Yeah.
None of y'all said we're. Are you on crack, Travis Kelsey? No one said the Chiefs were going to take it home this year. What? I'm just thinking of Little John. What? What are you talking about? No one said you're going to take it home this year.
Feel that. Feel it. And on top of that, next time the Chiefs say something, put some respect on our name.
Okay, so Kelsey obviously is doing his own thing. But like you said, Prano, I just saw this before the show. Now it's like this whole locker room, which it's now just turned into comedy. So here's more Chiefs players playing this whole wild underdog role.
Man, I don't remember being doubted. I remember being doubted every game.
Hold on. Time out. Every game? Bro,
Yeah.
I literally...
I got to say, I hear a statement like that, and you know what it makes me want to say to you? That makes you crazy.
Every like I just said, the Chiefs, I could be wrong.
That's a visual joke for everybody who's listening.
He looks like CeeLo Green.
There you go. You got it.
The Chiefs were the favorite in every single game before kickoff. Every single game before kickoff, minus the Super Bowl. What are these guys talking about?
I remember being picked against every game. I remember them saying the funky-ass Bengals was going to beat us 4 times. I remember them saying we couldn't stop Jalen Hurts. I remember all of that shit. And now they going to remember that I'm a 2-time champ.
Appreciate you calling that.
Which you kind of just discrediting your point. So, like, you guys are such underdogs. You've already now won 2 times in 4 years. And you know.
Listen, it's obviously something that, you got to find a way to motivate these guys. They've been to 5 championship games. They've been to 3 Super Bowls. You got to find a way to motivate. No one believes in you. You're the underdog in this game. You're all the stuff. I get all that. But it's like, honestly, the thing about Mahomes and Kelsey and anybody on this team right now, my attitude is like the way Shaq said to LeBron after he broke it. He's like, dude, if I was you right now, I'd be saying with my whole chest, I'm the GOAT. Like, if I was on that fucking Chiefs team, I'd be like, we should be talking about how we're a dynasty.
Correct.
We're a budding dynasty. The underdog role is not the role to play here, like, because you are a budding. You are on your way to being a dynasty.
100%. The problem is, I think all these teams like to do this now.
Yeah.
Remember when the Patriots did that for 1 year? Everyone doubted us. They were doing the same crap. The Bengals were doing it too. Oh, nobody trusted us when we started 0-2 and underdog. It's like you went to the Super Bowl last year. Every team cannot play the underdog role. Every team cannot play it. Like, guys, what are we talking about? This is one of the most hilarious spins. Like, what analyst are they talking about? And again, it was 1.5, Joe. Like, this wasn't the Patriots who lost to the Patriots who beat the Rams in their first Super Bowl. Dude, you were 1.5. It was basically a pick'em game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is kind of, as a Giants fan, it is kind of wild to hear the budding dynasty Chiefs play the underdog role more than the Giants players after they beat an 18-0 Patriots team where they were 2 touchdown underdogs.
Yeah.
It is weird. It is a little weird.
Right?
Can I do something? Can I talk about Patrick Mahomes for a second? I want to say something, and I'm gonna avoid saying it in the way that it causes so much controversy on all of these things. You know, we did our LeBron James, much to the chagrin of our listeners. We discussed LeBron James' legacy after he broke the all-time scoring record. The audacity of us. He only broke the all-time scoring record, so we've talked about him. I know that upsets people. I'm not gonna do. There's already this conversation, and I'm seeing it on SportsCenter this morning and on NFL Network and all this stuff, and I see it on Twitter, is like the GOAT thing. We're already doing the GOAT thing with Mahomes and blah, 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 blah. And listen, I'm just kind of over the whole GOAT thing in general at this point because of what both of us in doing this show have to deal with and what we see online in regards to basketball. It's like no matter what happens, no one's ever going to change their mind, especially when it's like certain guys, when it's the Tom Bradys and the Michael Jordans of the world. So I'm not even doing the GOAT thing, but I'll just leave it as simple as this. I really don't give a shit who anybody thinks is the GOAT. As much as I've replied to 5,000 TikTok messages about it, like LeBron James, to me, if I was going to take one basketball player ever to start a team around, it's him. I can't even think, I couldn't even make an argument if I wanted to for somebody else. It's him. He is him. If I was going to take one quarterback of all time, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. I'm an Aaron Rodgers slurper. I'm an Peyton Manning is underrated at this point guy. I'm a Joe Montana is the best Super Bowl quarterback of all time. I begrudgingly gave Tom Brady the GOAT status when he won with the Bucks. I'm the world's foremost Eli Manning slurper. But if I was going to take one quarterback ever, it's Patrick Mahomes.
How can you not?
Then I really don't give a shit about your GOAT and until he wins this many titles or until he wins that many titles and Brady did all this and Brady did all that and Elway and Breeze and Marino and Peyton and Montana. I don't care. If you told me I had to build a team and you're not going to tell me my roster, it's Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not thinking for a second about it. I'm not thinking for a fucking second about it, dude. We're doing an all-time quarterback draft. We're not going to tell you the rosters that go on. We're not going to tell you if we're going to have elite receivers or shitty receivers. We're not going to tell you if you have a great offensive line or a suspect offensive line. I'm definitely not going to tell you whether you're going to have an elite defense. Patrick Mahomes never had an elite defense his whole goddamn life.
Well, like I just said, how can you not? Like, if you are a fan of football and you said you're going to build your team around one guy, how can you not take Patrick Mahomes? How can you not?
Well, put this up on your YouTube shorts and watch the Tom Brady fucking heads explode. Until he wins fucking 7! I don't want to fucking hear about it! It's like, dude, the NFL's crazy. Sports are crazy, dude. You can't decide how good the competition's going to be. When there's a fucking, when there's a LeBron James out there, you can't decide whether or not during that same time there's going to be a Duncan Spurs and a Steph Warriors. You can't decide that in Joe Montana's era, his team was so fucking stacked, or in the fucking Cowboys era, they were so fucking. Emmitt Smith's the GOAT running back because he's the Super Bowl title. You can't decide what's going to happen. I can only decide what I fucking see. Patrick Mahomes does it when his offensive line is good. He does it when his offensive line is suspect. He does it when he has elite receivers. He does it when he has middle-of-the-road receivers. He does it when his defense is middle of the road. He does it when his defense is dog shit. We've seen it up and down, left and fucking right. Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers, dude. I'm an Aaron Rodgers fucking fanboy. Devontae Adams left. Aaron Rodgers didn't make the fucking playoffs, dude. Tyreek Hill left. Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl.
He just makes plays, man, when he has to.
I'd love to see if Patrick Mahomes has had a defense in these 5 years that crack a top 10 Brady defense.
I'm going to guess no. Like, if you're starting a team and you have one position, which is obviously going to start with the quarterback, and you have his ability, not just throwing, but his mobility, his improvisation, how are you not taking Patrick Mahomes? That's why last night, like we said, 10 points, big deal. Anyone who's watched the Chiefs the last 5 years knows no lead is safe. They beat the Bills with 13 seconds.
And we're sort of at the point now, and like obviously Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the football resume that Peyton Manning had, that Tom Brady had, that Joe Montana has yet. But it's almost like the point where we're at with the MVP awards, especially in like basketball, for example. It's really not the most valuable player. It's sort of the way we are with like the GOAT conversations that are happening all over the place now. It really feels like the GOAT is about accolades, and it's about hardware, and it's about things that reporters vote on, and things that, like, you know, all-star games. Who gives a shit about all-star games? Who gives a shit about, you know, the defensive first teams when you just get put on stuff? To me, it's sort of losing me. I love that argument so much. Andy, no one's participated in that argument more than me, right, when it comes to certain sports. But it almost seems like how important you were to the game is a fact, and trope. It's like, and there's a separate thing, which is build me a football team from the ground up with all the players ever. Okay, I'll take Patrick Mahomes. Build me a basketball team. Okay, I'll take LeBron James. You could have – I don't care about your points per game. I don't care about your total yards. I don't care about your touchdowns in Super Bowls. I don't care about all that. That's what I'm talking about. When I talk about my greatest – that's what I'm talking about. Those two guys have a lot in common. And to me, it's like they do it in the modern era with a layer of dominance I've never seen before.
And also in an era where Patrick Mahomes is in a stacked conference quarterback-wise. You know, like he's in, and it's going to be fun to watch how it plays out the next few years with Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. It's going to be fun to watch it play out. But he's above everybody.
Right.
He just is, guys.
And listen, if Joe Burrow gets a couple of Super Bowls and Justin Herbert gets a Super Bowl and all that shit, and so therefore Patrick Mahomes, whether this ankle's real or he just has the more money than he's ever needed, if he just goes, hey man, I won 5 Super Bowls and I don't want to have CTE for the rest of my life. I'm done. I'm like, cool. 7 greater than 5 or whatever your fucking dumb argument that all these people use. Like, I don't care. To me, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. It seems like that's a separate conversation that we're having these days. But I'm saying if I had to take one, and I'm going to take it the whole next level. If I'm going to take one football player ever to start the team, it's not LT, it's not Jerry Rice, it's not Tom Brady, it's not Peyton Manning, it's not Aaron Rodgers. It's Patrick Mahomes.
You know what's crazy? If you look at his numbers.
And just like LeBron James, he's done it with teams that are suspect, dude. He's done it with teams that are suspect. Getting them there, even in losing, suspect team. You know why the Chiefs play this fucking underdog card? Because the whole week everybody said the Eagles' offensive line is better and the Eagles' defensive line is better. And that's where football's won, in the trenches. Yeah, unless you got Patrick Mahomes.
So I'm just looking right now. If you extrapolate his stats, not that this will happen because nothing is guaranteed, but if you extrapolate from his first 5 years and say he does the same at the next 5 years, he's already going to have almost 49,000 passing yards and almost 400 career touchdown passes in 10 years of starting. And again, there's no guarantee. I'm just saying if you do that, can you imagine if in his first 10 years, if he plays at this level for another 5 years, he has almost 50,000 passing yards and almost 400 touchdown passes in 10 years?
But and isn't this kind of the same thing that we did with that conversation that upset so many people that we do in basketball all the time? But like, if Patrick Mahomes leaves after those 10 years and he does all the things that you just said statistically, and he does all the same things that he did winning games.
2 more Super Bowls, yeah.
2 more Super Bowls and another loss. 4-2 in Super Bowls. And he walks away with not the most yards ever, not the most touchdowns ever, not the most TDs ever, or not the most rings ever. He's still my fucking GOAT, dude. Like,
yeah.
What?
No, for real. He's definitely trending that way. I knew, like, personally, I knew he was good. I didn't think, like, even I was like, man, I did not see them winning another one this quickly because I know how hard it is. And like you mentioned earlier in the show, the strength of the NFL is the parity.
And as much as I hate the Eagles and obviously was rooting for them, I would root for them to lose to literally anybody. My fear going into this game was, oh my God, we're going to have one of these. We're going to have a LeBron again. We're going to have a LeBron situation where this otherworldly alien quarterback lands on Earth and manages to change a franchise so thoroughly, where they went from having 1 Super Bowl appearance and no AFC Championship game appearances since Joe Montana to 5 straight. And he's going to go in, as the underdog, and he's going to lose to a team with a better defensive line and a better offensive line and a better running game. And we're going to do the 1-2, a losing record. He's like LaFlop. I was like, we're going to this fucking poor guy is going to get this stupid, shitty, sports hot take, dumb fan thing. And I'm so glad it didn't happen because he's so fucking good. He deserves to not have even the shitty, dumb person arguments be able to be made against him.
So this is what I think when I watch him play, just from my own like internal feelings. I think he's so good, and there's a few quarterbacks, and like obviously Burrow is not at Mahomes' level. Like I have him like right behind him, but like, and Burrow's a guy too where this happens to me, where like I watch some of these guys, and Mahomes is again numero uno with this. When he has an incomplete pass, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like he's so good. I'm like, you didn't complete a pass that play. But conversely, I have to tip my hat to Jalen Hurts. I know that turnover was vital or crucial and it affected the game.
Played a great game.
God, he played a hell of a game, man.
Yeah, great game. played way better than I thought he was going to play. Just throwing the ball.
Yeah. I'll play a call. I'll play an Eagles fan call. It's Gene Marty Hunt, so it's tame.
Oh, so a reasonable Eagles fan. Gene Marty Hunt is, and I want to shout him out before you even play the call. I could be wrong. I don't think I've met Gene. But what's amazing is like, I don't want to meet Philly fans. Like if you're out there and I kind of don't want to meet you. Now I've met a couple of dirtballs. I met a great dirtball down in Wilmington, North Carolina. Eagles fan, great guy, great. But like when if I don't know for sure, like I'm gonna play a better safe than sorry. Gene has always been a very reasonable Philly fan. Seems like a great guy. I always kind of shocked he even is a Philly fan because he's such a nice, great guy. I look forward to meeting him one day, and that's something you don't say about Philly fans if you're me.
So I'll play this call, 310-359-8365. That's our hotline. Give us a ring anytime, and you might make the show.
Hello, Joe. Hello, Andy. Gene Marty Hunt here. Seconds after the Eagles loss. Kind of drunk. I'm disappointed, but it is what it is. People might complain about that last call, but you do not give up a 10-point lead at halftime. You did it to yourselves, kids. One thing I do want to ask you, Joe and Andy, is I see Jalen Hurts is, I think, year 3 into a 4-year contract, maybe. I'm probably wrong, but we're getting close to max out contract range. So I think we have one more year, and one because I'm not fucking playing, but you know what I'm talking about. What do you think teams like this should do? Because we have Joe Burrow, we have also the guy, San Francisco, which is going to be extremely dangerous if they keep Purdy and buy more people. You got McCaffrey, you got Kittle, shit, you got Debo. That team is going to be ridiculous next year. So it only goes up from here. That's about it. Sorry, I'm drunk and it's rambling.
All right. So that's basically his call. He kind of goes on for a little longer, but the Jalen Hurts question. What would you do? Put a hell of a season. Put a hell of a playoffs, hell of a Super Bowl. I already know.
I mean, it's a really tough question. And like let's downshift or let's side shift here to your boys, the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody's already talking. I mean, Justin, Randy, Ruther.
What's going on? Can we address that? Like, I just saw some tweets. Is there a Joe Prano, Randy Ruther beef going on?
Oh,
Twitter?
well, first of all, I think Randy I think Randy might have some trigger words. I just said that I felt like it seems like Bengals, Eagles, Niners fans like sometimes you just lose, man. Sometimes you just lose games. You haven't heard us Giants fans out there being like, "Hey man, this is what happened. You know, if this gone wrong in this game, and this is what happened in this game, and then this game, and then the rest weren't getting paid to put Kansas City in the Super Bowl." It's just like sometimes you just got to take an L.
I agree, and I'm just gonna say something about fan bases in general. You guys are all kind of bitches. I'm just saying, like, everybody whines so much on Twitter. Bengals fans are doing it a lot too. Like everybody whines.
But here's
Stop
my thing.
whining.
Here's my thing, and this is why I want to put an olive branch. This wasn't an attack on Randy at all. I was just saying, like, and you know, I don't know if somebody on the schoolyard called him a bitch back in the day, and he's got like a trigger word now. Like I wasn't saying, yo, you're a bitch. I was just saying, like, this is like whiny bitch shit, like week in and week out now. Just no one can, like, lose. Like, I think the Niners had a good shot in that game if they didn't lose their quarterback. But, like, they knocked out your two quarterbacks. Like, you don't get to whine about that. Like, the Bengals lost to the Chiefs. And there was that play, the third and fucking, you know, the phantom fourth down. That's a legitimate NFL refereeing issue. Them calling a hold on James Bradbury isn't like, I told you, the NFL, they want to fucking, like, This is all rigged for them. Suddenly it keeps happening to the Chiefs. Oh my God, you guys get used to it, guys. You know when you're going to see more and more things happen to the team that plays more and more. You're going to keep seeing the Chiefs get calls and not get calls because the Chiefs are going to go deep in the playoffs every year until Patrick Mahomes, leaves the game. But so yeah, I have no beef with Randy. I just have it's like sometimes you just gotta take an L. Now to answer the reason we started talking about it is the Bengals. We're already seeing Randy was sharing us Joe Burrow saying he's gonna take less money. He knows it's important to keep his weapons. Okay, so are you gonna take enough? Are you gonna take so little money that you can keep your weapons and your offensive line and your defense? I mean, Joe Burrow's not taking a $10 million contract. I can guarantee you that.
I'll just say this, living here. The delusions of grandeur that Bengals fans have on this bargain rate that they expect Joe Burrow to take. And for the record, guys, I don't care whether it's Burrow or Hurts or anyone. If you want to get paid, man. I would never. Here's the thing. It's in no one's right to say what a guy should make or what a guy should do. If anybody wants to get paid, let him get paid.
Listen, I think that there's a strategy. I think that there isn't enough thoughtfulness in sports, specifically in football, where there's a very, difficult cap situation. I don't think there's enough thoughtfulness from these players about how much more money you can make by being there a long time and consistently winning. I think that's something that Tom Brady figured out very early on. And, you could argue a little bit that maybe Tom Brady knew what a lot of people said about Tom Brady, which is, it's a Brady Belichick thing. It's a game manager thing. It's whatever. You could make the argument that he knew putting myself in cap hell for my own benefit actually hurts me long term. Maybe I'm not the quarterback of the Patriots for 20 years if that happens. Maybe I'm the quarterback of the Patriots for 10 years. But if I make twice as much money, you know what I mean? The math is there where you can do it. So it's the question becomes with guys like Burrow and guys like Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes took all the money. Patrick Mahomes had to lose receivers, offensive line, guys in his backfield, and guys on his defense because of it. And he just won a Super Bowl. If you're Jalen Hurts, if you're Joe Burrow, you got that in you? Joe Burrow is maybe I don't know. Maybe I need Jamar Chase. Maybe I need T. Higgins. Maybe I need him to do it. And so I'm going to do this. And maybe he's just smart enough. As a New York Football Giants fan, Devontae Smith already haunting my dreams. Obviously, A.J. Brown is probably not a long-term thing. A lot of the guys that they went out and got you pick up an Ndamukong Suh, you pick up the nickel corner, you pick up these guys, you probably can't just go, hey, let's extend all of them. There's the money's just not there. I will be interested to see. I mean, I'm sure they're going to pay Devontae Smith, and rightfully so. But I'll be interested to see. And I think Jalen Hurts showed me exactly how good he's capable of being last night. But if he gets $400 million, is he suddenly not going to have the best offensive line? Suddenly not have the best defensive line? It's a dangerous game to play. To me, I would be very upset as a New York Football Giants fan to hear Jalen Hurts say, $200 million, I still have generational wealth, and that's fine with me. I want to win. I would fucking crumble. I would cry. I'd literally cry if he came out and made that statement. And I would cry tears of joy if he was like, I think I just proved I'm on Patrick Mahomes' level. We were 3 points away from winning that game. Bad call. I deserve Patrick Mahomes money. I deserve $500 million. I would jizz in my own hair like something about Mary.
Good reference. By the way, couldn't make that movie in 2023.
No. And listen, I'm there as a New York Football Giants fan. There is no middle ground with quarterbacks. Right now, if you look at it, Ryan Tannehill gets $25 million or $28 million or something like that. And then there's a gigantic drop. I think the next guy on that list is like $12 million or something like that. There's a huge jump. There is no $20 million a year quarterback. As a Giants fan, I'm like, Daniel Jones, dude, you have an opportunity here. Take $20 million. You could be the Giants quarterback for a while.
Yeah.
Get $30 million. You might get cut next fucking year. You might get cut in 2 years. If you can't get it done, we can't give you weapons. We can't give you an offensive line. We can't give you a defense. It's a dangerous game to play. We're right there. And obviously we didn't have the season that the Eagles had. And right now, as high as I have Daniel Jones, doesn't look like we have the quarterback that Jalen Hurts is. Definitely proved me wrong last night in how he played. But is he a $400 million quarterback? I don't think so. But that's just me.
For me to get that money, you have to do it more than 1 year. He had a great year. He got MVP votes. Had a great Super Bowl.
Yeah, MVP vote.
Oh, is it just one?
I think so. I think he got one and Josh Allen somehow got one.
That's right. You're right. Now, me personally, I don't throw him that much money. I don't offer him that much until you do it a couple years in a row. Right? The NFL is crazy, man. You never know who's good year to year. He's got some serious weapons. He's got a great O-line. I think he's a great player, though. He surprised me. I've been wrong about him. He's also running quarterback, though. I'm not going to ignore that. How can you ignore that?
With like multiple Hall of Famers on his offensive line, defensive line. So like, listen,
these guys get hurt, man.
And listen, like played a great game last night.
Would have been the MVP if they won.
No doubt about that. Also, if you look at this year, and this is really more for the Eagles defense than it is for Jalen Hurts. Cowboys put up a bunch of points on them. Packers put up a bunch of points on them. Chiefs put up a bunch of points on them. Like, the Eagles played a lot of suspect teams this year and beat up on them. They obviously, I think we can all agree the two best teams made the Super Bowl last night. 38-35. Like, it was a great game. But, are the Eagles, when they have a first-place schedule next year, is their defense going to be as good as they were against the teams they played this year?
Well, you know what I find
offensive line getting a little bit older. Got to start paying some people.
Did you see the early Vegas odds? Yeah, I mean, they're right there with the Bills and the Niners, but they're behind the Chiefs and the Bengals as far as winning the Super Bowl.
I think we can all agree, and it's safe to say, in sports in general, like no one's confident. You can't be confident that the Eagles are going to make it back to the Super Bowl next year.
No, definitely not.
I would say one of the few things that we have in sports over the last, 25 years is you can be pretty confident that LeBron James might make the finals. We can maybe you can be like pseudo confident even with the parity in the NFL. Like maybe the Chiefs are back,
Sure.
A little bit. You could have a little bit of confidence. I guess the question for you is, Andy, how confident, if I had to say on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not confident at all, 10 being very confident, how confident are you that the Eagles play in an NFC championship game next year?
4 to 5.
It's about where I'd put it.
Conversely, I put the Chiefs at 8.5.
Oh, to be in the AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going 9 out of 10. Something could happen,
Yeah.
but that thing could, and they could certainly not go to the Super Bowl. But death taxes, 2 picks from Dak, and the Chiefs make the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, until they don't. Can we talk about the halftime show for a minute?
Sure.
I know everyone has such heated opinions on this.
Why?
I don't know. So
I'm not the world's biggest Rihanna fan, but like, cool, great show.
she did. Well, here's the thing, and I was interested.
Kind of reminded that Rihanna had some hits.
Not a single cameo though.
Yeah.
Jay-Z doesn't come out. She does Kanye's song, and I'm like, if she brings out Kanye, which
No.
you knew would not
Yeah,
happen.
you knew she had a better chance of bringing out Kyrie.
I thought Jay-Z would pop out. He was at the game.
I kind of like it though.
People were very angry
that she didn't have cameos.
that just her performance. I live with one who was very angry.
What was she angry about?
My girlfriend is like a diehard Rihanna stan.
Okay. What was the issue?
Just didn't like the performance. I think it's like,
Okay,
well, she's,
but I gotta have. There's got to be a backup for that, right?
I don't know.
Just didn't like it.
It was too lame. And she's seen her live, I think.
Well, she's pregnant.
And that's what the thing I said. I was like, well, she's pregnant. I mean, what do you want? I don't know.
I
But
mean,
everyone's so heated online about it.
well, there's always the heat. There's always the certain amount of heat online about, like, basically, unless fucking. I was gonna say Willie Nelson, but I'm sure he's pretty triggering to red staters at this point too. But unless Johnny Cash comes back from the dead and plays halftime, we know 50% of the country is going to be offended that somehow something Rihanna did is satanic, a ritual, or something like that. Like, we already know the way our country is. Half the people are going to hate it no matter what, and vice versa. But like last year, and I was at the game, we got every rapper that's ever even stepped foot in Los Angeles. If you ever have been within the city limits, you were there. And now this year we're like, no cameos, guys.
I would have liked to seen a cameo. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, listen, I hate to do it, but like, name a black person that wasn't on stage last year. What do they got to come every year to do the fucking Super Bowl? Like,
I'm just saying, she's had some hits with some rappers. Like I couldn't tell you the last time there was 0 cameos.
I know,
Nothing?
but I'm okay with it. U2 didn't have to have a cameo. Tom Petty didn't have to have a cameo. Bruce Springsteen didn't have to bring out Little Yachty. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, we're like, what happened, Prince? Know the game? Come on, Prince. We can't get a little T.I. up in the house?
But I would argue those people, and people might
are an artist that have their own.
Well, they might kill me on this. Rihanna is very connected to a lot of other acts on her songs. Is she not?
Sure.
Right? Was she part of Rockefeller for a while, I assume?
I don't know.
I don't know her record label deals, but my point is she's closely linked to obviously Jay-Z, which then makes her linked to Kanye. And obviously we all know what's going on there, but I was just a little surprised. And I think, again, that she is pregnant. It's going to maybe limit her mobility or her dancing or whatever. I don't even know what Rihanna does. Is Rihanna considered a dancer? Does she dance?
I mean, I think I'm sure she does at some point. But like, my thing with Super Bowl halftime shows is like, unless it's like god awful, or conversely, unless it's like an actual musical act that's playing their instruments and performing, like the in between, like I'm here for U2 and Prince and Tom Petty and Springsteen, like all those artists I named. That's what I'm here for. And then what I'm not here for is Katy Perry lip syncing while a shark dances. Like, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for, like, whatever other, like, but, like,
Really?
in the middle, if you come in the middle, you're just Rihanna. I'm Rihanna. I showed up. I did my songs. I'm really kind of unaffected.
But I think people want to see the shark eating Katy Perry as she flies down.
So people's issue with Rihanna is, like, not enough moments to tweetable make fun of her about.
I think people want to see not just a performance, they want to see an entire circus. There's no other way to put it.
I know. Well, listen, my significant other isn't pregnant. Your significant other isn't pregnant. But, like, put them on a fucking float when if you're out there.
By the way, I'm not judging.
If you're out there and your wife and girlfriend are pregnant, try asking them to get up on a fucking floating platform and just for shits and giggles. See what they say.
For sure. By the way, I'm not judging her. I'm saying this is what people want to see. I don't know her whole story. I know she just had a kid, and clearly she's about to have another kid.
With A$AP Rocky, that's my dude. Now, where was he? That's a question. But
there's a valid question.
But they don't have songs together.
Him and Skrillex come out together.
And do the dubstep Dirty Sports podcast song.
I'm just saying, man. What'd you think of the commercials?
I watched a bunch of them today. Nothing really stand out. Like I actually thought the Ben Affleck Dunkin' Donuts thing was kind of funny.
It was good. It was good. I like that.
Well, our boys Miller Lite, obviously our team Miller Lite. There was a Miller Lite Coors Light battle that ended up being a Blue Moon commercial. That was wild.
Which was a great explanation, by the way.
Yeah.
To my significant other.
Yeah.
So lost that, like, she's like, "Oh, Blue Moon got him." I was like, they own Blue Moon too.
Yeah.
I'm like, they would not be able to do this commercial. It's all the same company.
Yeah.
Which by the way, newsflash.
Sometimes you got to put something in girls' terms. You got to be like, listen, Coors Light is the Kardashians, and Miller Lite is the Jenners, and Blue Moon is Tristan Thompson that showed up. See, it's all the same world. Like, he didn't steal the show. It's like they're all a family.
Yeah.
The Will Ferrell thing was kind of funny. Like, just to me,
what about the Adam and Eve commercial? I kind of like that one.
I don't know if I saw it. I don't think I saw it.
Everybody was naked.
I didn't see it.
I think Anna Faris was in that one.
I missed it. Sorry. I watched some like top 15 commercials from the Super Bowl thing today because avocados coming in early. I didn't see that, and I also didn't see the Jesus one that everybody's upset about. Also, I always love that. Like,
they ran multiple ones. I don't even.
Paid for by the Jesus Freaks of America. It's like remember the Got Milk ads? You're like, who's in charge of these ads? Like, milk isn't a brand, and then you're like, oh, it's the Dairy Farmers of America.
So it's a he gets us. I don't know what that.
To me, it's. I'm going to quote a classic Andy Ruther when the NFL used to do the pink things. Who doesn't know about breast cancer? Who doesn't know about Jesus? Are there people out there who don't know about Jesus?
Wow. The branding firm confirmed the campaign for this is going to be $1 billion over the next 3 years. Now, they've been running these during other football games.
Yeah.
I still don't know what they're trying to promote.
Jesus, I believe. Jesus awareness.
Okay. Yeah.
And honestly, much like, listen, and honestly, much like the breast cancer, right? Like, if you know anything about like the Susan G. Komen breast cancer, whatever, it's like, it's all a fucking scam.
Yeah, 90% of it doesn't go to breast cancer.
Yeah,
Susan
like
Komen.
you're taking money and you're talking about breast cancer awareness, but you're not using any of that money to like whatever. It's like the audacity of spending $1 billion in the name of Jesus. Who would be like, what are you? You're not like feeding the poor or like taking care of the sick? No, we're making people aware that you exist. He's like, Okay. I thought I did that.
Yeah.
I thought I handled that with the whole cross thing.
Well, that's a great way to tie a few things together we didn't discuss last episode about Jesus and taking money from charities. Russell Wilson, real quick, for anybody who missed this, has been exposed. His charity has been exposed. An investigation by USA Today found that Russell Wilson's foundation reported it spent just 24.3 cents of every dollar on charitable activities in 2020 and 2021. So not even 25 cents for every dollar went to his actual charity.
Now, I'm not a Russell Wilson fan. I think we all know this. I'm sure his knowledge on this is limited.
I'm sure it is.
But also,
it's your name, bro. It's your name.
Exactly. It's a cop-out. And, I hate to bring up, get your drinks ready. I hate to bring up LeBron again, but like throughout his career, we've seen a lot of things. One of them pissed people off. The decision really pissed people off. It was all for charity. He started a school. It was all for charity. Like, if you're going to do these things, you don't have to. If you're Russell, you don't have to start a charity.
No.
If you do it, put some effort into it, do it right. And don't seem to be like scamming people. Now, listen, there's a lot of charities that fucking do this. A lot of them. A lot of charities that do this. But if you're going to put your name on it.
Know where the money's going.
Yeah.
Come on. End of story. And also, if you guys are going to donate to charity, this is just my advice. Do with it what you want. Do research before you donate to any charity. Like, where was I the other day?
Like, I can guarantee you that when you Venmo Joe Prano, it goes to Miller Lite. That is a guarantee.
Yeah, the other day I was...
Not 2.4 cents of every dollar.
Yeah, they asked me to round up yesterday. I forget which store I was at. And I didn't want to do it. I wasn't going to do it. I held back. Normally I wouldn't. I didn't want to do that. I don't know where this money's going. Oh, your total's $33.25. Do you want to round up to 34? I don't know where the 75 cents is going.
Yeah.
Am I funneling childhood traffic?
Yeah. I've never been inside the Ronald McDonald House. Let me see what's in the rooms, man.
I want to know where it's going, which, again, relates us to even another story.
Is Grimace just in one of the rooms of the Ronald McDonald House with hookers and blow? I want to see what's in the house, man.
As a former McDonald's employee, I don't think that's true, but I'm not sure. As a former employee who used to dress as the Hamburglar for kids' parties. So my first week at McDonald's, did I ever tell you my brother straight up heckled me? He came to work to heckle me. Brad, of course, no surprise there. He showed up at McDonald's and I'm on the fries. I'm like 15 or 16. And he's like, "What's up, fry guy? Give me some fries. Hey, fry guy back there, make those fries quicker. I need some fries." And I'm like, people are like, "Who is that guy?"
It's so funny, dude. It's John worked at McDonald's. My brother, John.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we were like, let's go fuck with John. And John was like, if you come in, I'm going to spit in your food. And we were like, okay, we're not, we just straight up don't go to McDonald's when John was there. We're like, no, okay. John's working today. It's Burger King. He's like, I'll jizz in your fucking fries. I was like, oh, okay. Well.
Oh, man, that's funny.
He's like, those pickles taste funny? Yeah, I pissed in the pickle jar. Get the fuck out of here. I was like, okay. Looks like it's Wendy's today.
Dude, you know how much power these workers have now?
These teenagers.
Every place you go to, like if you go to a fast food place, they're such dicks because they can, because every place needs fast food workers. Like they can hire just assholes and you can't talk shit because they're going to do exactly that to your food.
Yeah.
Dude, you can be rude as fuck to me. I'm not fucking with you.
Yeah.
I don't want you rubbing my cheeseburger all over your pubes.
Yeah.
I know things I did when I worked in the service industry. I'm not about that game.
Yeah.
Did you see Brett Favre
suing McAfee and Shannon Sharp?
Brett Favre, speaking of charities.
Yo, Brett Favre, sue me, you fucking thief. Hey, Brett Favre, you fucking criminal thief, you fucking monster, you piece of trash stealing from Mississippi, you garbage person, you fucking dirty thief, you fucking scumbag piece of shit. Sue me, you fucking monster.
Yeah, he's suing Pat McAfee, Shannon Sharp, and I believe the state auditor from Mississippi. This is wild to me.
You got a small dick, dude. I seen it.
So this is what the
small dick thief.
This is what the lawsuit claims about Shannon Sharp.
Sue me, shrimp dick.
It alleges that Sharp defamed Favre by saying on his broadcast that Favre was a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low, and that Favre stole money from people that really needed that money. So that's what he's suing for. And then also on Pat McAfee's show, according to the suit, Pat called Favre a thief and was stealing from poor people in Mississippi. The suit also accuses McAfee of making similar remarks on Twitter. And good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, Brett Favre.
Yes, shrimp dick thief.
His lawyers are just taking full advantage of him.
Yeah.
Does Brett Favre even know what's going on here? Like, I'm not justifying what happened, but like, he's got CTE for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And God knows what he's on, pill-wise, drug-wise. How are you going to sue people who are on TV?
Also, how are you going to sue people when everybody knows the story? When you fucking, like, what are you doing? Like, he can't sue me for saying he's got a shrimp dick, right? We've all seen his dick. But he might. Dirty Sports LLC, if you want to come after us.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's why we have an LLC, Andy.
Time out on that. By the way, that's the state of California, which no longer exists. So yeah, good luck with that, Favre. That's what LLC was formed. Also, good luck ever getting a dime out of me, state of California. Oh, did I say that? Yeah, I'm just poking the bear now.
Yeah, shrimp dick IRS. Oh God, now we're really done for.
Yeah, I just won't say anything about YouTube because we all know how they act.
We love YouTube.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna start doing YouTube shorts. We put out our first one. Speaking of YouTube,
hell yeah.
Did you see what?
And the TikTok is lit.
I'm gonna.
Instagram Reels is lit.
I'm on it.
It's the new Ruther.
It's the new me. I'm back, baby. I have to play real quick with Aaron.
I gotta tell you, no, I gotta shout out your boy. I gotta shout out your boy. Your boy. I was texting Majid the other day, and he's like, "I'm glad to see you guys went to StreamYard." And I was like, "When you say that, it makes me think you probably told Ruther years ago you should go to StreamYard," and he ignored it. He's like, "Yep, absolutely." I was like, "Well, that's kind of the most classic Andy Ruther shit I've ever heard."
He did. I gave other people credit. Well, a lot of people told me to go to StreamYard.
Yeah.
I don't remember him when he told me.
He was just like, "I'm glad to see you guys finally went to StreamYard." And I was like, when you say it like that, it makes me think you probably told Ruther this 2 years ago and he ignored you. He's like, "Yep, exactly." I was like, "Yeah, there's never been a more on-brand Andy Ruther thing forever than to be like 2 years late and somebody else finally tells him about it and be like, yeah, man, all right, I'll check it out."
Was he eating a helmet
Shut up,
full of
Majid.
nachos?
It's probably you. Yeah. Eat your nachos, Majid. So shout out to Majid. We could have been doing YouTube shorts years ago. Now, listen, it's fine. I certainly wasn't going to do it. I'm still not going to do it. I show up, talk some shit. You cut them into TikToks, and we out of here.
No, you can help me on the TikTok front.
Yeah, I got you.
You can help me on the TikTok front.
Yeah, I'm going to go on there today and call Brett Favre a shrimp dick a couple times. See if we can't get ourselves a lawsuit.
I feel like TikTok people get fucking turned on this stuff, man.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm telling you, man, the TikTok algorithm is like unmatched. Like all those people in our TikTok comments, they're just all day. They're just watching like Michael, LeBron, go shit. Like it's just like, if that's what your thing is, scroll through our TikTok sometime. Just because I've been like conversing with those people, and then like our shit is like, if you guys are bored of the LeBron MJ debate, don't look at what our TikTok algorithm will show you. It's literally just that.
That's crazy, man. Because, again, it'll get traction on other things. But I saw the amount of replies. People get so worked up over this stuff. It's
I
just
feel like that's the other thing too. I feel like I have a pulse on TikTok, like how to trigger people on TikTok, almost to a fault, because I triggered Taylor Swift fans to the point where they've now got me shadow banned on my personal. So we're focusing on the dirty sports. But yeah, TikTok's an easily triggerable group of people.
Well, I just feel that discussion in general is so triggerable. And you're right. That's what's going to happen with Mahomes. If Mahomes keeps playing at this level, like let's say he gets another championship in the next year or two, then that discussion is just going to come to the forefront. Brady's going to unretire. Brady's going to come out at age 50, just at Pat Stad or Stat Pat. Pat Stad. Am I high? Pat Stad.
Brett Favre is also suing Pat Stad for his podcast.
Prano, can we keep it kind of short today?
Sure. I don't even know what I never know what short feels like. I'm like,
it's been an hour and 30 minutes. It's not exactly short.
Let's go. I mean, what else is there anything else that we were supposed to talk about that we didn't?
No, I mean, there's other things we could discuss, but now that football's over, we'll jump into obviously way more NBA.
Baseball's just around the corner. I was gonna say to you, Andy, and I know you're a pretty busy guy and you got some things coming up. I don't know if you get a little break from chilly tweeting in the off season. I don't know if how basketball season's going. What is the potential? Just throwing it out there, and you don't have to explain yourself. What is the potential of Andy Ruther seeing a spring training game in Arizona this year?
There could be some potential. We'll have to discuss off air.
Okay.
Get me out there. I wouldn't want to see the team from Cincinnati if I went.
That's fine. We don't have to support them. I never want to see them.
Yeah, nobody does. I don't want to be
Yeah, it's too bad the Mets play in Florida, but.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I got to get off my, this is a tough time for me when the NFL ends.
It's time to start doing some, we got about a month plus here before baseball, season. We've got before March Madness really kicks in. This is where we're going to get some real triggerable TikTok topics,
Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
The infamous Dirty Sports Gary Coleman episode, I know for sure happened in February. It's like right around this time.
Yeah.
What you talking about? Yeah. Well, we are available on all social media, guys. Just follow us at The Dirty Sports. All social. It's pretty simple. Call our hotline, 310-359-8365. Joe Prano does stand-up comedy. Go check him out live.
I do. I have some shows this week in San Diego. Wednesday, Thursday in San Diego. Friday, Saturday here in LA. Next weekend, Ventura Harbor Comedy Club. Friday, Saturday. And then after that, the big one, if you're in Montana, Last Best Comedy Show on Friday, March 10th. If you're in Montana, Bozeman, Montana, Last Best Comedy Show, Friday, March 10th. 2 shows. Get your tickets now. Tweet at me, text at me, Instagram me, TikTok at me, and show me you got some tickets to see me in Montana. Really appreciate it. Follow me on all social media at Joe Prano. Follow us on Dirty Sports on TikTok and on YouTube and on the Instagram because we got reels and shorts and talks happening.
Yeah. Good stuff happening right now. All right, guys, that's our show for today. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.